Brothers and sisters, thank you all for the happy presence you have given me today. It is the continuation of our previous topic we are going to take up today, as I promised to you. That is, I have tried to explain to you the first 4 steps of the yoga path, and now I will try to explain you the second set of 4 steps of the yoga. We have seen that the attempt to practice yoga has its object to make yourself experience and live in your original state of existence.
Dans votre premier état d'existence.
Since every moment the mind and the senses are reacting to the environment, and the reaction is not natural to you because it is conditioned by the environment, and as long as you are in the awakened consciousness, your mind is influenced by the environment, and the result is generally you are living in the reaction towards the environment. Our whole attempt in the yoga practice is to see that the reaction is neutralized and your action is established. Then only you will know what your activity is in its true sense. That means you will know yourself. Know thyself is the oldest of all the axioms of spiritualism. When you are surrounded by parallel mirrors, you can see your images hundreds in number, but they are only your images and not yourself. And when the mirrors are removed, then you will come to remember your own existence, your real existence. Similarly, there are some 5 mirroring phenomena around you, which we call the 5 senses. And the mind is working through the 5 senses. And it is every time distributed among 1, 2, 3 or 4 or 5 of the senses. And the result is, it is experiencing only reflection and not existence. When I stand before you in your presence, I behave according to your presence and not according to myself. When I am sitting at the dinner table, I behave in terms of dinner, not according to myself. But can you tell me the time when we behave according to ourselves? As long as the senses and mind are reacting to the environment, it's not possible. And the mind and the senses stop reacting to the environment only when we are sleeping. Since we cannot experience ourselves during sleep, it is of no use though the mind and the senses are not working. It is only a sleep to the mind and senses. And for a long time we are habituated to know things only through the mind and senses. The result is, when the mind and senses sleep, we feel that we sleep. And we cannot gain any experience of ourselves during sleep. We should have another type of state of consciousness different from sleep, where the mind and senses are not reacting and where you are awake. Such a state is to be established. The scientific process of establishing this state is what is called yoga. The yoga includes 8 steps, and the first 2 steps are regulation and rectification, as we have seen previously. The third step is called asana, which includes the process of your observing your respiration. Then your mind begins to observe the movements of your respiration, and gradually it begins to come closer and closer the process of respiration. And after that, the process is to regularize your respiration. That is, the respiration is controlled by a pulsation which is working for you, and this pulsation is working in you day and night. It is making you breathe, and it is making your heart beat. there is a double pulsation working from birth to death in all of us. And this double pulsation is inherited by us from the space in which we live. Space has the nature to pulsate, that is, expand and contract, wherever it can find a center. Wherever a created entity is placed in space, it forms a temporary center in space. And around the center, the space begins to pulsate. Each of us form a center in space, around which our own space begins to pulsate. According to this pulsation, all the parts of our body are pulsating. And the vital pulsations, which we call the prana, form a part of these pulsations. The influence of this pulsation makes our lungs respire, because it expands and contracts the muscles and nerves of the lungs. Similarly, it makes our heart beat and our blood circulate. While we are sleeping, this pulsation makes our digestive organs also pulsate, as a result of which the digestive organs make many movements, many expansions and contractions, and the result is digestion of food. Like this, all the vital organs in our body are contracting and expanding alternately, and this process is called the double pulsation. This depends upon the pulsation of our subtler vehicles that are not physical, vehicles that are called etheric and astral, etc. All these pulsations of these finer vehicles put together is called prana in Sanskrit. The double pulsation is called prana and apana. By the power of the pulsation of prana, we are able to take the air inside, and we are able to take the food and drink into our digestive system. We are able to listen to others and understand what they say. We are able to receive everything that we receive mentally, physically, and vitally. When the second pulsation, that is called apana, is working, it is making us breathe out the respiration, and it is making us excrete that which is not required in our body, like the perspiration, the stool, and the urine. Also, this pulsation is making us speak and express ourselves, and we are giving out to the world whatever we give through this pulsation, which is from within outside. So these two pulsations put together are called prana and apana. The respiration is only a result of these two pulsations, and the health of the respiration depends upon the equilibrium of the pulsations. As long as the equilibrium of the pulsations is maintained by us, the health of the constitution will be maintained. But when we grow old in age, we will disturb the equilibrium of this pulsation. As I told you, for example, whenever we are in a hurry to do something, then our respiration rate is disturbed. Whenever there is fear, suspicion, jealousy, anger, the respiration equilibrium is disturbed and the heartbeat is disturbed. And many times and many thousands of times in our life, we create situations where we express jealousy, fear, and other disturbing emotions. And when every time the respiration and the heartbeat are disturbed like this, they establish a habit of getting disturbed. Because in the beginning, it is only the strength of the habit that established the respiration and heartbeat in us. Among all the psychological and supra-psychological powers we are having inside, the power of habit is also established in us when we are born. The habit to respire is established, and we are respiring. The habit of beating is established in the heart, and therefore the heartbeat and the circulation are automatically going on. So when we once again establish a different habit in us, that is the habit of disturbing the already existing habit, then there will be once again a habit of disturbance. As a result, disease and untimely death occur to the human constitutions. After a certain age, when we observe ourselves, we find that our respiration and the heartbeat are not as natural as we were children. This is because we have made a disturbance in them many thousands of times. This is because we have established a new habit of disturbance. And it is the purpose of the yoga student to establish once again the original habit. He should engraft a new habit of making them original once again. The attempt is called pranayama. Pranayama is a process which regulates the respiration, but it is wrongly understood as something to control the breath. Many people try to control breath and call it pranayama. If we directly begin to control the breath, the result is only suffocation and not pranayama. We should know a specific process which makes the respiration regular. And this process also was described in our previous lecture. When we begin to observe the movements of our respiration daily, gradually the new habit of making it equal is being re-established. And then we should use our conscious mind to make it regular once again. That is, by trying to breathe in slow, soft and deep, and at the same time observing the movements of the respiration. And again by breathing out slow, soft and deep, at the same time observing the movements of the respiration. We should regulate the respiration by making the respiration slow, soft and deep, and at the same time the mind should be observing the movements of the respiration. If this one step is missing, everything becomes missing and all our attempt becomes useless. So the keynote of the whole process is to observe the movements of the respiration, the muscles and the nerves. Then the mind comes closer and closer the pulsations of the respiration, and there comes a stage when your respiration will be very soft and very sweet. That is like music. Just as the notes of music have their symphony, your respiration also begins to re-establish a symphony which was not there in you. The symphony was there at your childhood, but in the middle it is disturbed. But now, once again, when you want to practice yoga, it is to re-establish. This process is called pranayama. And within a few weeks, incredibly short time, you will experience a wonderful thing. You will experience the stage when you need not breathe for some time. When once you breathe in slow, soft and deep and observe the movements of the respiration, the mind goes nearer and nearer the respiration activity and finally disappears in the process of respiration. You will find that the senses and the mind disappear in the process and you need not breathe out for a very long time. There comes a stage of experience when your mind and respiration stop in a poise. This is what is called kumbhaka in pranayama. But unfortunately, people try to control their breath and call it kumbhaka. Some people control their breath in the throat like this. Then the upward impulses will give a damaging effect to the cerebrospinal system. Some people try to stop respiration by closing the nose. This is worse still. This may cause sometimes deafness or blindness. This may cause sometimes deafness or blindness, or both. Sometimes it may cause some sounds, humming sounds being heard in the ear. There are people who practice violent practices of pranayama and they begin to hear the sounds in their ears and they believe that they are yoga sounds. But unfortunately, they experience headaches and anything that is painful and uncomfortable is against the practice of yoga. So, respiration should not be directly controlled in the name of pranayama. Respiration can be controlled only by a control of the mind. And control of the mind can be got only by a regulation of the mind. Regulation of the mind can be got only by making our routine regular. When we observe our official and domestic duties, and make a convenient programming of these duties with allotted timings to each program. And if we begin to follow these programs according to the timings, exactly to the hour and the minute, and that too without any mental tension to observe these timings, then our mind begins to get regulated. By making the work regular, the mind can be regulated. It can never be regulated by asking it to become regular. You can never control the mind directly. You can never discipline the mind directly by asking it to get disciplined. When you apply the mind to the work that is regularized in its timing and placing, then only the mind gets regularized. When the mind gets regularized gradually, the respiration and the heartbeat get regularized. So always remember, unless you regulate your daily routine and programming, unless you gain a mastery over your time of the day, it is highly dangerous to practice pranayama directly. Don't control the breath directly. Let the controlled mind control the breath directly. Just begin to regularize your daily routine while observing for 15 minutes every day how the respiration is going on. You will find the change taking place in you. It is a change on the practical affairs of things, which can be very easily observed. It is not a change which is in the imaginary plane or which should be supposed by you. Within a few weeks you will find that you are changed. Then pranayama is achieved. The first 4 steps are achieved. Your mind and the respiratory process will come together and become one, and you will have a beautiful muse of comfort and happiness. When you forget your respiration and it stops, again after the practice is finished, you will begin your respiration. In the meanwhile, there is no suffocation. There is no trouble to the mind or senses. That is what is called real pranayama. The necessity to breathe should stop, and the breath should not be stopped directly. Having achieved these 4 steps, you have to make an attempt towards the next 4 steps. The next step is called pratyahara. You will find that the mind is now free from the senses. The senses are suspended. They do not function unless you make them function. They will obey you and they will sit with you until you order them to function. Just as when you are discussing something important, though you have opened your eyes and looking forward, you will see only the person with whom you are discussing, and the other things on the background will not be apparent to you. Even though your eyes are open, your eyes cannot see the other things until you permit them to see. This is what is happening in our daily life also, but we are not observing it. When you are after some important business, when you direct the eyes towards a person, the eyes will see only that person and nothing else. When you are hearing to a particular person, your ears can listen only the words of that particular person and not the conversations of others. This is being observed by you daily in your daily routine also. But you have not made a special observation of this phenomenon.
Yeah.
But as a student of yoga, you have to make a special observation of this phenomenon and understand that there is a possibility for the senses to get arrested along with the arrest of mind. And until you permit the mind and senses to work once again, they do not work. You should see this possibility from your daily life, and you should make the best use of this possibility. This is possible only when you practice observing your respiration, and then the respiration being stopped automatically without your knowledge, and then the senses are automatically withdrawn from the environment. If you propose something inside to meditate now, then you will see that prior to this practice of the 4 steps, it is not possible for you to meditate upon something. Whenever you want to meditate upon something, your mind leads you somewhere else which you did not intend. Suppose you want to meditate upon a picture of Buddha or Christ. You try to recollect to your mind the picture Then your mind goes to a person who has presented to you that picture. Then the person begins to talk to you in your mind. Then a past situation which has happened between you and your friend will come to your mind. And then you will meet your friend on Sunday in the market, where there are hundreds of people and the street is very busy. This is the picture which comes to your mind when you want to meditate upon the picture of Buddha or Christ. You proposed the picture of Christ, but the mind proposed the picture of your friend who has given you a picture of Christ. And then the mind took you to the market. And then it has shown you thousands of people in the market. Now once again you will recollect that you have to meditate upon the picture of Christ. From the market once again you have to bring your mind home. Again it will go away. Again you have to bring it. This will be your trouble if you begin to practice directly meditation without practicing the first 4 steps. Many people close their eyes and try to think of a subject, an object, and call it meditation. Only when you have finished the 4th step called pranayama, you can practice the art of withdrawing. Withdraw the behavior of the senses into your mind by not trying to withdraw, but proposing something in your heart. You propose heartbeat.
Yeah.
The mind comes to the heart. You propose the movements of your respiration. The mind comes to the movements of the respiration. The heartbeat and the respiration are the only one item which can withdraw your senses and mind to you. Generally, the mind has the habit of receiving the impressions of external objects. When you think of the light, the mind becomes light. When you think of the voice of your friend, the mind becomes the voice of your friend. When you begin to think of bread, the mind becomes bread. When you begin to think of the taste of beer, the mind becomes the taste of beer. So, the mind gets the taste and the smell of whatever it thinks. It is like a handkerchief where something is placed. If you place some camphor in the handkerchief, keep for some time, then take away the camphor. Your handkerchief smells like camphor. And afterwards, take another handkerchief and place an onion in it. Press it and take the onion. The handkerchief smells like onion. Whatever you place in the handkerchief gets the shape and the smell of that subject. And sometimes the taste of the object also. Similarly, whatever you think with your mind, the mind takes that shape. And it is what we call reaction. Now, you take a piece of fire and put it in the handkerchief. For some time, put it in the handkerchief and then take away the fire. Does the handkerchief smell like fire? The handkerchief goes into the fire. So, fire is something different from any other thing. You cannot make the handkerchief smell the smell of fire. Similarly, it is only the respiration and the heartbeat which is something different from all other things to the mind. Whatever object you think in your mind in this world, the mind is bound to get its shape or smell or taste. But when you begin to practice thinking of your respiration and the heartbeat, the mind can never get the smell or taste or the impression of the heartbeat or respiration. Instead of doing it, the mind disappears into the respiration and heartbeat. And the result is the one unit after the two disappearing. That one unit takes a new birth of your personality. Now this unit can withdraw the senses and the mind into itself, because it can exist in itself. Previously it was the mind that was existing, not yours. Previously you were existing in the heart and lungs, and the mind is existing in the brain cells. Now, after you have completed the practice of the 4th step, the two are not existing separately. The mind has come closer and closer to the heart, and the bigger mind which is in the heart has absorbed the normal mind which is working in the brain cells. The mind that is working in the brain cells is objective in nature. That means it is only like a mirror. It can reflect the inner light outside, but it can never give you any illumination. If you place a mirror in this room, it can reflect the light of all these bulbs in this room and make you feel that there are double the number of lights in this room. Similarly, the mind is being felt by us as something which is really existing.